This year has been absolutely amazing for swing trading. The last 4 swing trades I have taken have all been winners, and it only takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to find these setups, and then the swing trades themselves require very little management. So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining my swing trading strategy, how I find stocks to swing trade, and how I identify my stop loss. But real quick, as always, if you guys do find value in this video, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. All right, so before I show you guys how I find these swing trades, I want to break down what my swing trading strategy is. So looking at this screen right here and a swing trade that I am currently in on Verizon, I want to break down the indicators that I use. So the first 2 indicators I use is the 21 and 34 EMA. Now the reason why I use these 2 EMAs is simply due to the Fibonacci sequence. If you guys aren't too familiar with what the Fibonacci sequence is, there's tons of videos on YouTube that you can watch, but as we can see from the Fibonacci sequence, we have 21 and 34, which is why I use those 2 EMAs. And then other than that, I like to use the TTM squeeze. Now I do have tons of videos here on my YouTube channel teaching you guys on how to use the TTM squeeze, but I will break down the basics of it in this video. So the very first thing that I look for before taking a trade is for price to be in a squeeze. Now looking at the TTM squeeze indicator, you can see that we have 4 different histogram colored bars. We have light blue, we have dark blue, we have red, and we have yellow. Light blue is pretty much just telling us that strong buying momentum is coming into the market, and the more buying momentum we get, you can see that the light blue bars start to grow, again showing that there's more and more buying momentum. But as soon as that buying momentum dies down and we get a smaller bar, we are going to get the dark blue. Now what the dark blue bar is telling us is just overall the buying momentum's dying down. That doesn't necessarily mean that price is going to start pulling back. Price could just sit there and consolidate for a little bit. It could slightly start to pull back, but it's not a reason to go short. Now on the flip side, we have red momentum. Now what the red momentum is telling us is that there's very strong selling momentum, and the larger that these red bars are, the stronger the selling momentum. And as they continue to grow, you can see that the red bars get larger. Now, as soon as we get a bar that is smaller than the previous red bar on the histogram, we are going to get yellow momentum. Now, yellow momentum is telling us that buying momentum is coming back into the market. Again, this doesn't always necessarily mean that price is going to go up. We could be in a downtrend and price just starts to consolidate in this yellow momentum area, but it all really depends on which side of the EMAs is price on. So if we zoom out a little more and go to the weekly time frame, the reason using the moving averages with the TTM squeeze histogram is so important is because yes, we can get dark blue momentum, or yes, we can get red or even yellow momentum, but if price is holding above the 21 and 34 EMA, that is bullish. So yes, we have red histogram bars over here, but because price is holding that 21 and 34 so much, that is likely going to go back to yellow, and then yellow is likely going to go back to light blue, which you can see we are currently doing. And it's the same thing to the downside. Yes, we can get yellow momentum, or yes, we can get even light blue momentum, but as long as we're holding below the 21 and 34 EMA, that is bearish. So because that is bearish, likely the yellow or light blue is going to go back to red, and we are going to continue to sell off. So that's how you're going to read the overall histogram bars compared with the 21 and 34 EMA. Now, the main thing that I'm looking for in the TTM squeeze is going to be these orange dots right here or these red dots right here. This is telling us that price is currently in a squeeze. And the best way that I can explain a squeeze is imagine that you take a Ziploc baggie, you fill it up with air, and you continue to twist it up. Eventually, that bag is going to pop, and that is exactly what is happening with price. So if we're looking at Verizon here on the weekly time frame, it has basically done nothing since way back here at the beginning of the year. It's still trading in that same area. So eventually, price is going to get so condensed that it's going to break out one way or the other. And that's exactly what we are currently seeing right now on Verizon, and the whole reason why I took this swing trade. So literally, a majority of my swing trading strategy is looking for price in a squeeze, which I do have scanners to find, and we'll talk about the scanners here in a little bit, but find price that is trading in a squeeze. I want to see it holding above the 21 and 34 EMA. Personally, I like swing trading more to the upside. That's where I make the most amount of money. That's where I'm the most accurate. So I tend to not take swing trades to the downside, but as we're going to see with a bunch of swing trades that I've taken this year, I'll break all of them down for you guys. You're going to see the same exact setup. Price is holding the 21 and 34 EMA. We have a squeeze, and then from there, I'm just looking for bullish price action to look for the continuation to the upside. So this Verizon swing that I took was mainly based off of the 3-day time frame. So I ended up getting in at the close of this 3-day candle right here. Now, as far as stop losses, I like to enter as close to that 21 and 34 EMA as possible. Now, because with swing trading, we can find so many different setups on different time frames, you have to wait for that candle close. So because this was based off the 3-day time frame, I had to wait until the close of this 3-day, which was right here at 41.40. Now, for my stop loss on this trade, it was a break and close below this 3-day 34 EMA. So that's why I like to enter as close to these moving averages as possible, because then your stop loss is right on the opposite side. Had I seen this swing trade a little earlier, a few weeks ago, I could have gotten an even better entry right here on the weekly at around $41 with a stop loss right below about 40. So again, that is exactly what I am looking for in every single swing trade. So these contracts did a little over 60%, ideally aiming for this 43.40 area, but that's just one of the swing trades. Let's go to another one that finally hit my final price target today, IYR. So this one was based off of the quarterly time frame. And actually, speaking of time frames, the main time frames that I'm looking for swing trades on, and the ones that I have my scanners to pick up on, are the daily time frame, the weekly time frame, the 3-day time frame, the monthly time frame, and the quarterly time frame. And again, we'll talk about the scanners here in a little bit. But this IYR swing, we entered a little later than this quarterly candle close just because it didn't hit my scanner at that time. But the days that I actually entered this position was this day right here, and then added the rest of my position this day right here. So around like $93.80. So I ended up going with the $97 calls expiring in January and the $100 calls expiring in January. And overall, my price target on this trade was 100. So if we go back to the quarterly time frame using the TTM squeeze and the 21 and 34 EMA, as we can see, price was constantly holding above this quarterly 21 and 34. So because price kept holding above it and we had that squeeze plus the up arrows on the TTM squeeze pro, I felt like there was a very high probability that this IYR was going to fire to the upside. And because this was based off of a quarterly time frame, I had a feeling that there was going to be a larger than average move. So remember, with swing trading, the higher the time frame, the larger the move is going to be. So that's just another picture perfect example of a trade that we actually took. Another one that I ended up taking on BBY. This was only an equity trade. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the options. I was watching the options, but honestly completely forgot about it. But I did end up having the equity that moved about 20%. So again, the same exact thing. Quarterly time frame, price is holding that quarterly 21 and 34 EMA. We have a squeeze. Yes, we have red momentum, but because we are constantly holding above the 21 and 34, there is a very high probability that that is going to go into yellow, and yellow is going to go into light blue, and the squeeze is going to fire up. So now if we break it down to the daily time frame on this, I entered, I believe it was this day right here on the equity. You can see that we have already made a very nice pop to the upside to around $103.70 a share. So again, that was based off of the quarterly time frame. Another trade that I took, I think it was like late last year that we ended up taking this, but it was on SU. Actually, no, it was the beginning of this year. It was February. But if we're looking at the monthly time frame, same exact thing. Monthly squeeze, price is holding above that monthly 21 and 34 EMA. We have a monthly squeeze. Price broke above this trend line right here at the end of the month. That is when we entered long and were able to capture a beautiful move to the upside. And then let's just look at one more. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about silver a lot, but honestly, this was a picture perfect swing trade again based off the quarterly time frame. So looking at the quarterly time frame for silver, price broke above that 21 and 34 EMA, held it for multiple quarters in a row. We got the squeeze right here. Price held above the quarterly 21 and 34. At the end of this quarter is when I entered my calls and captured a beautiful move to the upside. So again, literally, it is the same exact setup over and over and over, just on a different stock and possibly a different time frame. So now, how do I find these setups? So like I said, I built scanners that pick up exactly what I like to look for in a swing trade. First, there has to be a squeeze. Second, it has to be holding above the 21 and 34 EMA. But then there's also a few other things that I threw into these scanners. But looking at them right now, I mean, there's tons of potential swing trades that we could possibly take. This is everything hitting on the quarterly. This is everything on the monthly. This is everything on the 3-day, which you can see Verizon is still there. And then these are 2 different daily scanners as well. So it honestly takes me about 5 to 10 minutes every day to go through all of these and see if there is a potential swing trade setup. Now, if I see something I like, I then put it on a priority swing list, and then I wait for a proper entry. And if I get my entry, awesome, I'll take the trade. And if not, I just delete it off the watch list. So if you do want access to these scanners, head on over to my Instagram, Brandon Trades. The link is also down in the description, and send me a DM scanners, and I will tell you exactly how to get them. But that is going to wrap up this video. So as always, if you guys did find value, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. Everybody have an amazing rest of your day. day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.